Hey there, everyone. Welcome to A Slice of Life with Kelly and Jon. Today, our guest is Najma Zanelli. I met Najma through what was it? A women's
Becky.
group, a leadership group,
It was with
business.
Becky. We have
Yeah.
friend
Uh,
Becky.
Yeah. About learning, your skills, your work skills and all that. So I
And
met
what makes
Najma.
you special?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
apparently whatever it was that you conveyed to Kelly when you met. At some point, she says, "We got to get this
Yeah.
person on our podcast." So
I'm
there you
grateful
go.
to be here. Thank you for having
Yes.
me
You're
And
on.
very
Becky's
well.
special too. We've interviewed her and some other girls in the group too. So it was a really
Evie, I'm
good group.
friends.
Evie.
Evie's my friend, and I think she's the connector
Yeah.
of
All of us.
us.
She's
I
the
didn't
hub.
know that until I had a call with her on Thursday, and I told her what I was doing. She's like, "Oh, Becky's friend." She's like, "Oh, John is my friend." I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, okay." But it's all good. We're all friends now.
Yeah, yeah, we're all
That's
connected.
I
Yeah,
love
So,
I've known Evie at least, let's say, more than 20 years. Uh,
wow.
More than that, maybe 22, 23 years. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
I
the
love
doll. She's such a sweetheart.
her.
I just adore her. Yeah, she's a good one. Um, but yeah, I was interested when you started talking about what you were doing. I was really interested. And so tell us, you were in the corporate world. And you left the corporate world. What did you do in the corporate world? Let's start with that.
I mean, straight out of college, I worked for JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, grew up in finance in the financial world, treasury, securities to accounting, real estate, all in the banking space.
Mhm.
So lots of long days and late hours. But when I was young and single, it was fine.
Right.
I left when I had my first child, and unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer at 12, at age 12 months, not 12.
Mm.
So I took a step back. I stayed home to make sure, she's good, all those doctors' appointments. Then I went into healthcare. I wanted a more of a 9 to 5 job. No job is 9 to 5, right? I heard you guys talking. But over there, that's where I really my leadership skills. I was not who I am today. I was a corporate brat, Wall Street, you name it. Just living in New York City. It was fun. Those were fun days. But it was at Humana where I really learned, how to be empathetic, and also our cancer journey, right? It was very humbling, respecting life and why we have to live now. And I'll talk more about my newsletter, Live Rich, Retire Rich, right? It's not, hey, just make money. Yes, we need money, and I'm all about money and helping people grow money. Um, but it's really we have to live a rich life now while we build wealth for later. Because I've seen many people just build, 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 and they don't have connection to their families,
Yeah.
friends, to themselves, right? It starts with us. I don't think I was connected with myself. I was just kind of living, doing the routine stuff, right? Complaining, and I I burned out.
Yeah.
At Humana, it's a healthcare company, and the dream, the motto, if I can remember correctly, was to help people achieve lifelong well-being. Look how it rolled out of my mouth, because they really lived and by those values with our vendors, customers, because our customers were 65 and over.
Mm.
After 8 years, I decided to leave. Like during the pandemic, it was just really tough. I have two children by 2020, a toddler and a third grader, I think. And my husband works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Oh, I was a single married person. Excuse me. I jokingly would say to people I'm a, married single mom. It wasn't funny anymore because I really felt it. I was taking care of my team. The members were 65 to like 85 average age. They needed health care, they needed to see their doctor, so we were even busier. Bills needed to be paid. So there was no shutting down. I worked around the clock. And that's a year after that, I just decided to quit. Because, and the reason why I quit was my kids. They're my why.
Hmm.
And it was really tough, but I think right now I'm really embodying and really enjoying being a mom. Like before, I thought I was doing all the right things, but I love those slow mornings where I can wake up and not rush them out the door, yelling, screaming, and then, babysitters, you name it. I was really done with that. So
Hmm.
that's my journey from corporate to what I do now. I decided instead of just being home, I started my own company because I did consulting work in between when I had kids and I would take time off. Um, doing, I really enjoyed going in, working on a project. Because finance, you can go to a hospital, you can go to I worked for luxury jewelry stores. You can walk in anywhere. Now, P&L, a budget is a budget, right?
Right.
Accounting, numbers are numbers. It's just
Yep.
connecting, understanding what people do. So I think being coming from finance, I could really walk into any industry and do well. So I was like, okay, how do I fit this into my life now? So I started my own consulting company, and then I was inspired to write the newsletter. And I take on clients as if they fit my schedule of 9 to 2:30. I
Mhm.
refuse to work after that. Sometimes I do, but I'm really enjoying all this
So
right
that's
now.
when your kids are at school. Well, you've got the toddler with you,
Exactly.
but when the other one's at school.
Well, no, the toddler is 8 now, but it was during the
Oh,
pandemic.
okay.
She was a
Oh, wow.
toddler, and I had to
Okay.
keep her alive because she was a very active toddler. So I had to really look
Keep
in
her
and
alive.
say, who am I doing all this for? And I know it's me first. I've always believed that. Even as a young girl, I had that desire, my life, my joy. But of course, our children, right?
Yep.
I have responsibility as a parent to make sure that they're they're I set them up. I give them the right foundation,
Yep.
love, nurturing, and as a working mom, the life, the kind of hours I worked just didn't work for me. So I abruptly quit. I went to a nonprofit and I worked even harder over
Mhm.
there. And what's funny is that's where I had those difficult bosses at a nonprofit. When I was an executive director, the micromanaging was happening there, and I was expected to micromanage. And I was like, no way, I'm not doing this. Everyone deserves respect, especially when they're not
Yeah.
getting paid so well. Like people are bringing their skills and talent to do good work, and we can't treat them this way. So there was a revolving door, and I decided, you know what, it's not aligned. Even like good causes, like I've learned to look at things and say it's not personal. I don't feel guilty saying no. And I said, hey, I have to go, and that's when I created my company.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's what excites me because I'm always dabbling with my own little things on the side. And I did consulting when I was in Los Angeles. I was going through some health issues and I couldn't really work a job because I never knew when I was going to feel good or not. And so I started these businesses and started doing workshops at the colleges. And it was so empowering and freeing. And I probably worked harder than I ever worked, but it was not only that it was for me, it was for other people. I really felt like I was making a difference in people's lives by educating them, teaching them skills that they didn't have before. One of my classes was a bartending class. When you think bartending, you think cocktails, a bunch of cocktail recipes. And that was probably the smallest part of the course. I taught them business skills because I said, when you're a bartender, pretend like it's your business. These are your customers. Are they going to come back or not? So your service Anyway, it just was so empowering and so fun. And, I would get the sweetest notes from my students, saying this was, I learned more in your class than I learned in a college business course. And one guy, he had been in the war in Afghanistan, and he's like, "You saved me." Oh, that one makes me tear up because he always says, I was lost and I didn't know what to do. And you taught me things because I just always wanted to empower people and teach them so much more than just, how to make a drink or how to add things up or um, give them confidence in what they're doing. And so all my side jobs, I try to do something that's like empowering to
That
other people.
lifts
So
and you're
yeah.
providing
And
value to
that's
others.
why I was
Not
so
just
interested in what
taking,
you're
right?
doing
There's an
because
equal exchange, right?
yeah,
And for a
yep,
while, I felt weird even charging people,
yep,
especially. And then I was like, wait, no, no. The business woman in me is like, so
yeah,
the way I set it up in my mind was, okay, my kids are investors in my business. And people get like, how'd you come? I come up with some crazy ideas to trick myself and other people. It's like
mhm,
mindset. If I start going places, giving free talks, speeches, or giving away my time and not getting paid because now I'm saying no to Disney vacation. I'm saying no to, we used to go to Europe for like 3 weeks in the summer. And when I say no, and I'm not raising them to be like entitled kids, but when I teach abundance and money, relationships, all of that, I don't feel abundant. If I don't feel abundant, how
right,
am I
right,
going to, right?
yep,
Teach people how to feel abundant. And that's different for all of us.
yep,
We enjoy traveling, eating, and my kids, we instilled the bug in them. And now, they have these crazy, on their boards. Let's go to Ireland again. Let's go to, I'm like, it's a bit of a stretch. So again, they're my investors. If I'm saying no to them and saying yes to everyone else, they're hurting. I'm not building our nest egg. Leaving corporate, that's a big
scary.
guaranteed paycheck to walk away from. So I
Yeah.
have to make sure that I do right by them also, and then save for their college as best as I can for myself. It's easy to just give away, right? Free.
Yeah. Well, people will be more invested themselves when they pay for it too. I
Exactly.
mean,
Oh,
Right.
they're going to benefit. You're giving them a gift that
right, right.
they're going to make a lot more money than what they're paying in the future with the skills and the value that you offer them. So, of course, yeah,
Absolutely.
you want to do.
There's a joke, right? People don't want vitamins, right? They'll take the Tylenol when they have the headache or the ailment. So I find that financial freedom, money, it's one of those things where people will hide from, they just if it's uncomfortable, they don't want to look at it, or everything's going good. So why do I need to even like have a mentor or a
Right.
finance coach? But it makes a huge difference, made a huge difference in my life. But at Humana, at Chase, I had access to so many different portfolios and people to consult with for free. It was included. Small business owners don't have that. They're not
Yeah.
thinking about that. Every penny, they're putting it back into their business. That's great. But we also know that small businesses, the failure is okay, and that's normal,
Yeah.
but we have to keep investing, right?
Well, they have
Always
to
buying,
understand
always, yeah,
business because a
yeah,
lot of people start a business, small business owners, because they know how to do something or make something or oh, I want to sell these things, but they don't know business and
right,
it's
right,
like a different skill to understand how to run a business and do budgets and all that, deal with finance.
right.
Um, so yeah, you have to know how to do that. So you are helpful too. I see I'm looking on your website and you've got a couple books. So Mrs. Independent, what's that about?
Okay, that book is about it. It came out of that experience growing up and not having the freedom to even like go to my high school prom
Oh,
because hey, there's going to be alcohol there. So, right, it's that. So the book is money, relationship, spirituality. So people they get confused. What is Mrs. Independent? It's
Mhm.
actually money, relationship, spirituality. Mrs. Independent
Mm.
become unstoppable, unbreakable by creating abundance in money, relationship, and spirituality. I'm like, that's it. That's the blueprint. That's what
Awesome.
I follow.
Yeah.
So I decided, hey, I'll just put it in a book, put it out. It was also part of a challenge. I wanted to write a book. So this is less vulnerable than the one I was telling you guys about, where I'm really sharing
Your story, your
my
biography, more or
story.
less, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah,
write your
yeah.
biography down the
So
road.
I'm over it now. I don't care what people think, who it may hurt, because it's going to add so much value. Because um, I came here, wow, it's 40 years since I moved to this country.
Oh, wow.
I was 7.
Wow.
I just gave away
From
my
where? From
everyone from Bangladesh. And
Awesome. Awesome.
right, so having right to live in the constraint, right? I grew up in New York City where it's the melting pot. You're meeting everyone
wait,
outside.
wait, okay, I have to stop you right there. 40 years ago, so we're talking 85,
Yes,
1985.
1985, that's when I moved here.
Okay. To New
Yep,
York City,
New York City.
we're talking Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Uh, it's certainly a populated country, but a small country, but certainly no cities remotely close to what New York City or even its outer borough, the boroughs were like. What kind of cultural shock did that give you?
Well, I don't know if I was shocked because I was so
And I
young.
could be asking the wrong person because you might have only been like, I don't know, 4 years old.
I was
So,
7. So
okay,
I had
7.
I remember the plane ride. I remember saying goodbye to my maternal and paternal
And
grandmothers.
it must have been a couple of plane rides. I don't think there's a straight
No,
flight from
there
Bangladesh
were
to.
3. I think we had to go through the Middle East to Europe and then to JFK.
Wow.
I think that's why I don't go back home that much. I think there's trauma there. These are long flights.
No, no, but besides the flight, just the way of living. Uh, I mean, and I can only judge from what I recall from back in the early 70s when it was, if I'm not mistaken, East Pakistan, right?
Yes, it
And
was
then it changed
India,
to
East
Bangladesh.
Pakistan, Bangladesh in 1971.
Correct.
It was
And I remember,
extreme.
the devastation and the poverty and
Oh,
the almost genocide that was going on to a degree at that point. And of course, I have my personal connections to that.
wow.
Uh, but
Wow.
but um, but you were, that's what you left. So, and then to come to New York City, and was there a specific borough? Did you have family here already? Was
Oh,
there a,
my dad sponsored us. He lived in, I mean, that's what's beautiful about his experience too. He left, I think it was then Pakistan. He left home to work as a teenager. Pakistan, then cruise ships. Um, then at some point he ended up in London and lived there for 7 years
Wow.
illegally. Then he went back home. Then he came to New York. He was sponsored by his brother who had a restaurant here. Back then, you didn't have a lot of Indian restaurants in New York the way you do now.
oh, of course, but was there where he was there a community? Because usually, I mean,
It was a little, very small,
when
tiny.
my great grandparents got here, there was obviously Italian communities all over, especially in New York.
Lower
But
East
and
Side.
yeah, is that where
Yes,
he wound
that's
up going, huh? The
yeah,
Lower
that's
East.
where
Oh,
yep. Lower East Side, and from
Wait,
there
wasn't it? That's Alphabet City down
Alphabet
there.
City, and I had no idea how drug infested it was because we were sheltered. So I appreciate being sheltered, even though I hated the experience because we weren't allowed. It was school ended, you had to be home right after school. Like if you weren't, there was a search party going on for
Oh,
you.
wow. Wow.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I hated that.
Alpha, just so you know, Kelly, the reason it's called Alphabet City is besides Manhattan,
Avenue.
which is
Mhm.
filled with avenues that are numbered and
Streets.
streets that are numbered. Alphabet City down the Lower East Side is Avenue A, Avenue B, Avenue
I lived
C.
in New York in
Oh,
1985.
okay. Sorry. So for the rest of
When
you
you were
people
there
around the
is when I
world who don't
had moved
know, I
there in
just told you what.
1985 too. And
There
I
you go.
moved there
Wow.
from a
Okay.
small town in
Look at
Ohio. I had
that.
lived in Columbus, the state capital, but I grew up in a small town in Ohio. So to me it was culture shock too.
There's still
Anybody that
culture shock from people coming from different states.
yeah.
I live on Long Island now. There's still culture shock. People who go to New York City, I think they're
Yeah.
still shocked
Well,
by what
it's
they
so
see.
congested. To me, my first impression when I first got there, I was visiting my one of my best friends, and everything was dirty. And I was like, I did not want to touch anything. I did not want to sit on the subway. I didn't like, people everywhere.
Unfortunately.
And it was just gross and dirty and people everywhere. And then somehow I just got the bug and I loved the city. I loved the vibe and the feel and the people, and
Exactly.
they're direct and they're like yelling at you and what are you doing? Get off the sidewalk. And I was like, oh my God, like real people, not the phoniness and the pretending. And I really loved that. I am really embraced it. But the winter was what drove me away. So
Yeah, same here. It's the winters. If I move, it's because
they're
of the
harsh.
winters. I'm
Yeah.
here for, this is still the best place. I leave. When I fly in, I look at the skyline. I'm like, this is home. Like I mean, I'm a New Yorker, right? At this point, 40 years here, I am a New Yorker more than
So
anything
you're in New
else.
York now?
Yeah,
Long
Long Island.
Island.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
so about 45-minute train ride or
Okay.
car ride, but
Yeah.
our traffic. It could take me 2 hours to get to my mother, who still lives in Manhattan,
Mhm.
because you still have pockets where the rent hasn't really, some things are still controlled,
Uh-huh.
stabilized.
Uh-huh.
So we're grateful that she still has her place and we get to like go for long weekends, enjoy the museums with the kids, summers. It's really nice to have that. So we'll use that as long as she's there.
Yeah. Yeah, that city's very special, awesome, but also very challenging. Even no matter how much money you have, just like you can't avoid the traffic and the people, and it's
No,
just
and it's
challenging.
right. You can ha make a household, right? You can make a quarter or 500,000 and still live paycheck to paycheck in the city.
Yeah, yeah,
And people, oh,
really
you
can.
choose to live there. Well, yeah, that's why it's so expensive,
Well,
right?
I mean,
Because everyone wants to
last
be here.
night, not that, I was watching an interview with Tom Hanks, and he was passing through Manhattan, and he saw the building or the apartment building where he lived way back when he was, or even around the time he had done the TV show Bosom Buddies or something
Well,
like that. And he saw the apartment house, and there was a sign in the window, in the superintendent's window, apartment open for rent. Come, take a look. And he rang the bell. And the person was like, "Yeah, what can I do? You want to see the empty apartment?" And he said, "Well, I used to live here 20 something years ago, or however many, whatever it was." So the person, of course, so that apartment that was for rent happened to be his apartment, the one he lived in.
moved in. Wow.
Yeah.
And so she asked him, "How much did you pay rent when you lived here?" And he said, "We paid $200 a month." And she
Oh,
goes, she goes, "It's now $2,000 a month
That's
to
still
live
at
in this
least
apartment."
2,000 is nothing.
it's
Yeah,
a steal.
at least.
Well,
Where
you don't get a parking spot,
Yeah. It must have been really small because when
and
I
one
moved there
bathroom.
in
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. Oh,
1985,
He even gave the address. It was on 45th Street,
Wonder when it
too.
was when Bosom Buzzing. I'm trying to remember.
Well, just, I'll tell
Not-
you later what show it was on, and you can
Anyway,
look
yeah,
it up.
my issue was I moved there, and then my girlfriend and I were going to get an apartment together, and we couldn't find anything. There weren't any available. Like there were
In
no apartments.
1985?
Yeah. And finally
Wow.
we kept looking, 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 and finally we found a studio. She and I, we were never home, but we shared a studio, so it didn't matter because we were never home. We were best friends. Um, but we were so excited. We were celebrating. We were like, let's have a party, in a studio apartment. Then we looked at each other and like, yeah, right. We know about three people here and we've got a studio apartment. But anyway, we were like so celebratory and it was $750 and it was 196 Prince Street, right down the street from
Oh,
Wow.
Raoul.
Yeah.
that's near Lower East
Downtown.
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Soho. It's called Soho.
Yeah, it's all like I think before all the numbers start and the
Yeah.
Yes.
avenues.
Yeah.
It's down
It was
it's
a real
down
nice
Other
area.
in
side.
Soho, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the apartment was really nice and clean. It wasn't like one of those gross places, but it
Oh,
was tiny. But I would just remember that it's ingrained in my mind because we were so excited when we finally found one. And it sounds like things haven't changed. So, but it's a
no,
small area. I mean, how can you just have to keep building up? They have to keep building high rises
that's what
because
they
there's
do.
no room, there's no more room. But anywho, so you're in New York and you're doing your thing. You were in the corporate world. Now you're Mrs. Abundance, Mrs. Independent.
I'm not Mrs. Abundance. I embody and I try to live with those values, but I have my consulting, so that's, I it's been 2 years since I quit my first corporate job, Humana, and then when I went to the nonprofit, then like I feel like I was weaning off that corporate, paycheck.
Uh-huh.
And then just what I do now, it's really my rich life is to, you know, live my abundance, live in that abundance first, and then teach others how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a component of it is money, it's mindset. I don't, so my company is Nas Global. I publish Live Rich, Retire Rich. I it's that simple, right? Live rich. It's a rich life.
Well, can
And
you give
that's
us a tip?
food.
One of your tips. How do you live rich and retire rich? Is it all money focused? Like you said, mindset. Can you give us one
No,
little tip?
no, it's not money focus. I'll give you a little backstory. My dad passed away when he was 68. He retired. But he lived his whole life saving. He wouldn't even drink a cup of coffee. Look, he had 6 kids to raise in New York City. I understand. We didn't take
Yeah.
vacations, but we had a rich life. We didn't know what we were missing. Like
Mm-hmm.
my kids are used to a lot of stuff that I didn't. You don't know what you're missing if you don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
it.
Kids are easy. They're flexible. They'll go along with
Yes,
whatever. Yeah.
exactly. But just watching him live that way, saving for a rainy day, I'll do this later. I'll go back home later. But as soon as he retired, or he had to retire because he had Parkinson's disease, a lot of things, he passed away at 68. That's young.
Mm-hmm.
That's very young. So I'm like, okay, I can save. I can, squirrel away, put all my money away for later.
And later may never
It's
come.
not guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed, and especially when I had a child diagnosed with cancer at 12 months.
Yeah.
I was so angry. I was like,
Mm.
I waited, I prepared, I did all the right things. I was that, marriage, sold our townhouse and, bought a house ready. And I'm like, what? Right? So that was a journey. And but it taught me how to like respect life, enjoy life now, right? The joys. So I will never tell people don't have your cup of coffee because my dad wouldn't buy a cup of tea or coffee.
Right.
But if we wanted McDonald's, he did treat us, but he took away from himself. I wish he had lived more.
Mm. Yeah.
So I think this newsletter started from that experience. Like, hey, we can't just, I'd love to teach people, and I do, hey, how to save. It's simple, and you can find so many resources online, right? Spreadsheets, budgets. You have all these gurus, all these
Yep.
people in their 20s teaching you how to become a millionaire overnight. No, 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 that's not how it works, right? So I'm not an influencer. I that's why I have the consulting company, and I think instead of trying to go out and find clients, I'm just not into that Instagram, Facebook, go tell my stories and then put my kids out there. I'm really private
Yep.
with what I share. Um, and then so when I was at Humana, I was also a well-being lead champion, and my team did a lot of work with the well-being team. I created a 8-week financial freedom course. And that's where I'm like, okay, I just have to go and talk to the corporations to provide this. They have the budget instead of I'm still helping people, but someone else is paying the bill.
You
So
hear
that,
that? We've got thunder, really loud thunder going on.
no, I didn't hear it at all.
Scary.
So a nugget is live your rich life now while you save for later. And that's
Love that.
automating, making savings easy. It's having a few different, like having a checking account, a savings, and maybe multiple accounts in a bank. Treat your savings like an expense. So, like, let's say you get $100, right? Deposit it into your bank account. I'm just easy number to remember, like break it into percentages, right? Use for your fixed expenses. That includes your housing, your electricity, your car payments, all of that stuff that you, so there's controllables and then there's uncontrollables, right? You can control how many times you eat out. You can control your vacations, but some things are fixed, right? So that's you make sure you whatever it is, 50%. I don't tell people you need to save this much. No, I don't tell anyone anything, right? It's just, hey, this is how much you spend. You make $100 or $100 million. You do a percentage and you make sure you save a percentage from every paycheck. And you also have a fun bucket so that you can have your guilt-free spending.
Yeah.
Chinese, pizza, whatever it is that you want to spend on, whatever makes you happy, right? It could
Yeah.
be, I don't know. I don't know what you guys like to do, what your hobbies are. Put money towards it.
Yeah.
Automate it, right? So this account is it's for fun. This is for savings. You have your emergency savings, then we tackle what kind of debt do you have?
Yeah.
Is, there's the snowball and then there's the avalanche, which is pay off your high interest rate first and then um, pay off, if you have something that's 20%, you pay that off first. Whatever's 10, right? You go down that line. And then there's a Dave Ramsey, I think he uses that a lot, the snowball method, and that's the method I taught at Humana, where you take the small wins. If you have $500, pay that off. You celebrate that, then you tackle the next one and the next one. Whatever fits. I never tell people, and I'm also not a financial advisor. I don't tell people where to invest, how to invest. It's personal between their accountant, their CPA, or if they have a financial advisor. I don't use people because I've got lucky. I've gotten lucky because I just played the game early on and compounding. So I just tell
Yeah.
people, even if you're struggling, save $1,
Yep.
put it away,
Yep.
and then spend, so it's all based on percentage, right? There's 65, 10, this rule, there's all sorts of rules. Find one that fits your values, your lifestyle, what you enjoy, right? Live rich while you save for your retirement.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's not complicated at all, and I don't know why people complicate it. It's not.
But I think young people aren't taught this. They're not taught the value of compound interest,
No.
and how money works and saving versus spending. And one little tip that I do that I'm proud of myself for is I will use coupons. And I have my different credit cards, and the one that offers, whatever 5% back for groceries, that's the one I use for groceries, and 3% back for everything you buy online, that's the one I use for Amazon. And then I make a mental note and I go, that's my treat. Those are my treats. All the money that I save, because I put a little effort into it. Um, and then I don't feel so guilty when I indulge myself. Um, because I saved money, using
Whatever works
going and
for
cutting those
you.
coupons or whatever. So yeah, we find our ways, but you have to be aware of it. You've got to be aware. Like you said, some people don't even, from the time I was 18, 17 when I started working, I had budget books. I had saved them all. I just threw them away a couple years ago because I'm like, this is silly. But I had my first book, and from that I nobody taught me how to do it. I kept track of what I made and what I spent, and I had written down everything that I spent, every penny.
Wow, you're
Um,
good.
it's weird. It's just nerdy. It's like a thing with me. I really love numbers. I love doing budgets. So it was a weird thing that I did, but I
Right, I
never
don't,
showed them to anyone. I never told anybody about it or anything. I just did it.
it's
Still
fun,
do.
right? It's
Yep.
it's like a game. How much can you
Yes.
save? How much can
Yeah.
you um negotiating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, Making more money or finding another job, a side hustle.
Yep.
When I was getting married and we were going to move out, that's another funny story. My parents were not okay. My husband, Catholic, Italian, Croatian, right?
Mhm.
So I had to kind of plan that move. I would have to either tell them and leave immediately, or,
So don't give them
right?
time to think about it.
Or, we hash it out. That's like that can go in that book, right? That John's going to help me write.
Funny.
But where was I?
When you
The
guys moved out, when you moved out and you sold
Right.
your
So
or bought your
I
house.
had time. I did have a 9 to 5 job at a boutique financial firm, Medallion, and they used to sell, like, the loans were given to ta yellow the brokerage firms and the taxis buying their Medallion. Remember those days? That's a
Right.
Medallion. They went up to $500,000. So that it was on 50th that I worked, and Crate and Barrel was about a few blocks, like 7 blocks away, I think, their flagship store. So I was like, I love the store. I love the feel. So I got a job there, a seasonal job. And yeah, it was to help people, but also like it was me shopping at the end of the night.
Oh,
Right? It wasn't like the $10 or whatever they were paying me to work. Like after work, I'm like, I go home and did nothing anyway. Like, so I think the discount was like 30%, and then or even more, right? And then you had the furniture. It was like, for someone starting out, like I don't want to pay $5,000 for a couch, but I have expensive
discount.
taste, but I refuse to pay full price.
Yeah.
So I got a job there, and after 3 months, I was able to, I would work 2 hours. I was very nice to people, help them shop, right? I was on the floor. And then I would shop and just have it shipped to my apartment
Mhm.
that I was
You were
going to
doing your
move
own
to.
shopping while you're working, spending all
Yes,
your work money, all the money you make.
and more. But it was so worth it because
Yeah,
I
you got the
bought
discount.
things and I still have those things. The
Nice.
cleaning shelf, it's from there. I paid like, I don't know, like these things last, right? And this is
Yeah.
over, it's like 20 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
idea. That was a good idea to do that.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I did it. It felt like, hey, I have, some time to kill. I just have to pick up two shifts. That's nothing,
Yeah.
right? And like, so I just loved saving money,
Yep.
tracking my expenses, and
Yep.
I have luxury handbags. I lived that life in New York City
Yeah.
with my bonuses at Chase. I would, of course, my savings, everything was automated. Had I put away back then, instead of buying a Louis Vuitton bag for 2000, if I had put it away, I would have had hundreds of thousands now, right?
Yeah.
But I still have those bags,
Yeah.
and I have a nice retirement account. So you can do
Do
it
both.
all.
Yep.
But people are just spending everything they make to have
Yeah.
fun. And anyone that worked for me, and I would tell them, just do the minimum, whatever the 401k matches. And they would, oh, but I live in a basement. And I was like, give me $1. And then I would give back $1.25. I'm like, who gives you this kind of money?
Right.
And it clicks. It's not a percentage. Someone is giving you 125% of
Yeah.
what you're putting in. Do the minimum, take the money, and then do whatever you want. But at least, so I was, and they were really appreciative of that kind of advice, or just how I felt like, why are you giving money away? You're giving money away.
Yeah.
You can find the money. We can
Yeah.
find the money.
Well, or as in my experience, I thought I was set. I was working on my career. I had a bunch of money in the bank, getting ready to buy a condo in LA, and I got sick and I
It
lost it
happened.
all. So you never know. You want to make sure you have enough of a cushion.
I don't mean to laugh. If you've noticed, I kept quiet through all of this.
Tell us what.
Tell us.
No, my situation is try not to get married a couple of times
Oh,
and give houses away and give and do all that and pay attorneys who charge you $87,000 and say, but you won. You know, wait a minute, you cost me $87,000.
Oh, that's
yeah,
What?
another thing.
Okay.
yeah,
Anyway, so
Young
that's why
people,
John is being quiet.
you need a prenup, just like you
yeah.
need
All right,
before.
don't
I
worry
know
about it. We ain't
nobody,
going down that
nobody
highway
thinks.
anymore.
I
But it's
know
good
you're
advice
like,
for the audience. I think a prenup is a really good idea,
and it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
even
Why
if
is
you're
there
not
a
wealthy.
stigma? It's not, oh my God, like, are you already like putting a curse on your, no,
Right.
like
No,
that is the
you're
biggest contract people go
Yeah.
into
well,
without realizing what it is based on
I-
emotions and love. I did it too.
I'll tell you, of course, this came afterwards. I was reading a magazine. There was an article. There was how they usually have an illustration on one page and the title of it, and the article starts on the next page. And I saw the illustration, and the title was interesting. I couldn't even recall what it was, but I was like, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the correlation between the title and the illustration. But let me just read this. And the first paragraph, that's all I had to read. I didn't even have to read the rest of it. And we may want to edit this out of here because it has nothing to do
Mm.
with what Najma is talking about. But this article was you meet the person who is perfect for you. Everything about this person is perfect. They like the same food you like. They like the same movies. They like the same music. They like doing everything you like. It's unbelievable. This person becomes your best friend in the entire world.
Mm.
And at some
Right.
point, you decide, hey, best friend, let's go on the vacation of a lifetime. Yes, you both decide to do it. It's great. You're going to be with the person that you enjoy most and go on the ultimate vacation, the ultimate trip. And you buy clothes for it and you book the hotel. It's the best hotel. You go to the airport, and right above the walkway to the plane, it says, this flight will crash and burn 50% of the time. Have a nice day.
Oh,
Do you get on that plane
no.
with your best friend? Because that's what you do when you get married. At that time, the
Yeah,
divorce rate was 50%.
yeah,
And that's what you were doing. You were
yeah,
taking that ultimate trip with your best friend, which is guaranteed statistically to crash and burn 50%. And that was then. I think the number's even a little higher now.
yeah.
John, that's the divorce rate. What about the people that don't get divorced because
Yeah.
of finances? What about the people
They have
that
the nice
don't get
vacation.
divorced because they're afraid?
Well, oh, there's
They're
no doubt about it.
because
Honey,
of,
I've got,
right?
sorry, I don't mean to call you honey, but I've gotten on that plane a couple of times.
Because it
Okay.
feels so good, right? Oh, it's
Okay.
your best
All right, here's my
friend.
thought about marriage. So I teach a course called Find Your Excellence, and it covers budgets. I've
What
got the
about
budget
ex?
with all the percentage, suggested percentages and everything in the back. And then there's a section about a prenup, and it includes whose parents are we going to visit on Christmas, whose parents are we going to visit on Thanksgiving, vacations, who's going to take out the trash. Like it's very, very granular. Um, which you don't have to do, but it's just a suggestion, it's a guideline that, and then you renegotiate throughout the marriage. You can say, because people change. You might
I
marry this person and then in 5 years they're a different person.
I
So
have
we have
a
to be willing
But
to be
but but
flexible and
what happens if you don't agree on negotiations? Do you get a divorce?
might have to
Or
flip a coin.
how about just having, I forget what comedian even might have said this at some point, but how about just having a marriage with an expiration date, and then as it gets closer, you determine, do we want to renew this?
okay. You guys
Like a
have to
library book,
You're talking to two
see
divorced people,
yours.
so
No, no,
we're a
no.
little
See,
jaded.
I have a post-nuptial agreement. I almost got divorced
uh,
during pandemic. That's
uh,
one of the reasons why I created this company and why I quit is to make sure that my kids are doing well. Um, a lot happens, right? From I do to right. I gave up a lot, right? During all the family crisis. Who was giving up the promotions? Najma. That's Mrs. Independent also comes from. So I became now I went from being higher the breadwinner to almost like the independent one because now without that second income, do we get to keep all these things we work so hard for? It's not easy or when you do work that hard and go through everything you go through to give it up. But yeah, this is why I'm so passionate about Mrs. Independent. It's really married women having choices. I don't want to curse here, but I teach women how to create FU funds. That's, you can say
yes.
FU to your employers, your husband, your partner, whoever, because so many people, I watched a lot of Lifetime movies at one point and I was not in a good place. These
They
are
all
real
have the same
stories.
plot.
Yeah. Without money, it's not
Stuck.
easy to say, get out,
Yeah.
or I'm going to pack up and leave. How many? So you said 50%. How many people still stay because they feel like they have to, they're
Yeah.
forced to, they think they're doing the right thing by their kids, which is nonsense. So I found a lawyer, paid a lot of money, and I hear you, John. And it got to the point where, whoa, I was like, whoa, you get half of my stuff too? Like, see, a smart money person still didn't know. See, when you get married, you don't know what contract you're getting into, not with the person, with the state, with the
Exactly.
government, right?
Exactly. I mean,
So
I had a lot to worry about or to deal with, not to dwell, certainly not to dwell, but I have residual rights for books that are ongoing, so
good, your
intellectual
future.
property and screenplays and stuff. So I had to give up a lot of other things in order to keep
To give your rights.
my
I get it.
intellectual property. Uh, so these are things that nobody even thinks about
Hmm.
when they're planning things like you yourself. You're writing a book, or you want to write a book. You want to know that in the event of anything, not just those rights will retain or remain with you, but let's just say nothing happens in your marriage and everybody's happy, but you don't survive. And you need to make sure that the rights to that book are passed on to
Yeah.
other people to make
Right,
sure that
Correct.
your intellectual property will stay in touch. You
right,
know,
right.
there
There's
you go.
Yeah.
So,
right. So we don't plan for the unseen, the
right,
unknowns, right?
right.
Yeah.
We don't have I don't know, that globe, right? We don't have that magic wand to say, okay, show me the future. No one knows. I don't know. I could pass away when, right? We can prepare so much and
That's right.
then, not be able to go and do everything
Well,
we
that's
thought
why you have
we
insurance,
do.
and that's why, I don't think it's unromantic to have a prenup because then you know what's expected.
And then
It's
you're in it for the right reasons.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
in
and
it
and you
not for
stay for the
money,
right reason.
not because you're afraid of
Yep,
things.
yep.
You're there because you
There's something.
enjoy each
There's
I
other's
know
something.
women who stay because they can't leave because they're not financially free,
sure.
and
Hmm.
men stay because they don't want to give
They
up
don't
all
want to
their
give it
money that
up.
they worked so hard
But
for.
in my
So how
case,
happy is that? I mean, that's not a
right,
happy
you're
life
just
for either.
together. Right. And then people are living like double lives basically, right?
Yep.
Cheating. Like,
Or
what's the
separate
point?
lives, or
That's not
That is something
marriage.
you said, Kelly, that I never thought of in all of these years, and including the 13 or 14 that I was in the insurance business as that national director. But there's think of think of the odds. Insurance companies will literally insure anything, anything.
divorce
Anything.
insurance.
They will not give you the marriage insurance.
Or
They
marriage.
will. They know that
The
percentage is,
odds
or
are.
the odds are so insane. There's not an actuary in the world
Who
that
would
would say, "Oh yeah, yeah, we'll insure your marriage." No
Because probably
problem.
even more people the
would
divorce
get it
statistics would be
divorced?
even higher.
Exactly.
Yeah, because a lot of
I'd
people
love
do
to.
stay together just because of money.
I'd love to see the premiums on that.
Yeah. Well, so this has turned into a marriage session, a
Yeah,
marriage and
we're gonna
divorce
have to have you back
session.
on to talk about really
Yeah,
everything
I
else
mean,
you do.
I'm trying to buy a domain relationshipcontract.com because I had a shower idea around all this, the grief that I've been through, the suffering,
Yeah.
or it was all in my head, right? A lot of it because I didn't want to give up this, I didn't want to take this. Like tried to be as amicable as we could, but again, money plays a huge role in our lives. And then anyone that says, "Oh, money doesn't bring you happiness," I tell them to fly a kite. Not
Bullshit.
true.
Well, you
Exactly.
can't
Bullshit.
be happy without it. If
If
you
Right.
don't
money
have it,
doesn't
you're not gonna
bring you happiness, you just don't know where to shop. It's as simple as that. It's as
Exactly.
simple as
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's a lot like if I'm comfortable, like I if I had the choice to be sad here or out on the street in the cold, here
Right.
any day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just, yes, it's nice to be, you know, what is I can't think of the word, but like, our emotions, right? We're like bushy-eyed and we go into relationships or even like companies, right? Because you're like in love with what you do, who you're with. um, it's not smart. Like prenups are a must now.
Yeah.
Any young person that talks to me, I know it's not sexy. It's not no one wants to think about divorce when they're getting married. But when you look at the statistics, it's there. It's there. Everything you do, money plays a huge role in our
Yep.
life. So
Yep.
that's why money is the first, right? M, money, and relationships, right? How do you keep yourself relevant at work, at home? You have, kindness, compassion, treat people with respect, your spouse, your kids. Often we think we own our kids. No, we don't. They came with, they're
They're
here
little people
to
too. Yeah.
people with emotions, feelings, they have their own soul. They came here to enjoy their life, whatever way. It's
Yeah.
as parents, it's our job to guide them. Obviously, we don't want to produce terrible people and unleash them into the world, right? That's
Yeah. Don't want to do that.
right. So there's discipline, but you can do it with love, and we have to
Yeah.
embody that. Right?
Yeah.
Kids, you can tell your team, your kids, people, oh, I'm great, I'm this, be nice. If you're not that person, they will pick up. They will be who you are and not what you
Yeah.
tell them to.
Well, and they want attention. I mean, I know a lot of people that work so much and they don't give their kids attention. They put them in front of the TV or the computer, they got the little iPad. Even my dog, um, I think animals have a soul too. And
Yeah,
I work from home, I work all day, and I feel really bad because I feel like she's not like she'll come up to and put her little paws on my chair and then walk away if I don't pay attention to her because I get really engrossed. I mean, I get really engrossed in my work. I full concentration and I won't even hear her barking for, a minute or two. And I feel like it hurts her feelings. I think it hurts her feelings. She feels rejection because
yeah,
I'm here. Like if I was gone, although when I come home, she barks at me like, "Hey, she's happy for a minute and then like, "Hey, don't do that again." And like she literally has that bark. And she's very emotional. And so I think, if an animal is like that, my little dog, then kids, they know when you're paying attention, when you're present, when you're on
right.
your phone and like listening, but you're texting someone else. And like you really have to
Yeah,
give that full, and probably your spouse too, to have a successful
right.
relationship.
You have to somehow, there's what's balance. I don't know what balance
Yeah.
is, right? And
Yeah.
it could look different for everyone.
Yep.
Right now, my rich life is being at pickup at 2:30. I leave, pick up my kids. I focus on them, their activities, homework. Um, Obviously the elder, she's 13. She's not as independent. She's also on the my like autism spectrum. I'm not going to let other people influence her. She's thriving, she's honor society, and grades are not everything, but it's a nice bonus
Mm-hmm.
for someone who's challenged
Yeah.
physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me
Education, and,
home.
whether it's
Education.
grades, book learning, just learning about the world, and
Right, and being
understanding how things
kind
work. And
and
yeah.
communicating and it's connection,
Yeah.
right? Why do we communicate? Why do we learn how to give great speeches, whatever? It's so that we can connect with others, right? And I couldn't have, yes, it'd be nice to have grandmother put the TV on. Even my mother, she can't do what I do with my kids.
Yeah.
They'd be watching soap operas with my mother.
Oh.
I mean, so I can't outsource that. As convenient
Yeah.
as it is,
Yeah.
no. When I chose to
Be
bring
present.
little humans into this world, it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
So I take that very seriously. We were never a nanny household. That is something we agreed on. So again, it wasn't in writing, but my husband and I agreed that we won't have a nanny household. But I was a person giving up everything.
Yeah. Yeah, or even, hire household help, somebody to do the
I agree.
cleaning and the
Cleaning,
cooking and that kind of stuff so that you can be present for your kids.
I'll pay
And
premium on
yeah.
Costco because my time, I value my time, right? So when we purchase things, right, we're buying our time back,
Yep.
or so I'll place an order on Costco, and I think if you do online, it's like way more. That's
Yeah.
fine. Someone does the shopping, they
Gives you
bring
more
it to
time.
me.
Yep.
I save 2 hours in my day. I can focus in my business. I can take a client. I can do other things. So again, looking, right, everyone has a different spreadsheet, that budget. What do you value? So your rich life, w-
You're
living
budgeting your time too.
your time,
It's
right?
not only your
What's
money, but your time.
worth?
Yeah.
I can pay someone um $200 to come clean my house. That frees up my
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't have to, I can spend this time with my kids. I can
Yeah.
go out. I can do things and not spend the day cleaning and cooking, which I do now because I'm not working outside of the house.
Yeah.
So I can manage my time and day so much better. So that's my rich life, being able to go pick my kids up, be here for them, and then if I feel like it, I'll work. If not, I focus so much between 9 and those that 5 hour window. I am full on. I'm here with you guys. I'm
Mhm.
present with
Yeah.
you. I made sure my kids are out of the house. And when you saw when we first came on, they came back. I went on mute and I'm like, you're supposed to be out. Right? So if I'm with them, I'm present.
Present. Yeah.
And even at work, they knew, don't bother me
Yeah.
during this window. You can call me all you want. I'm not answering. Like I had my boundaries.
Yeah.
I didn't always have them. I learned the hard way, obviously. But when you put down your boundaries, people will respect that because it makes
Well,
sense.
you're
Why?
teaching your kids to have boundaries too,
Exactly.
their own
Hmm.
boundaries. Yeah.
And taking the steps to, initiate divorce was also to show my two girls because I envisioned myself, 20 years out or whatever, Thanksgiving dinner at my some guy talking to them a certain way. I would blame myself for that
Mm.
or them giving too much of themselves in a marriage or relationship or workplace. They would become me because w- what they watch is what they embody, what they,
Yeah.
right? Kids are
That's
not
what they
stupid,
become.
they're smart.
Yeah.
And every household, everyone, even me, I'm a product of my parents. I used to yell at them. They were just giving money away, and they don't come from money. They were immigrants in this country, living in Lower East Side, raising kids. But they always found a way to give to people. I'm like, yeah, you couldn't buy me the top, but you're giving money away. I used to get annoyed. But I give today, it's natural
Yeah.
because that's who they were.
Yeah.
Right? So you can say all you want at the time, but we learn, I hope, right?
Yeah.
You appreciate it, but that's if you come from, right? Some households you don't want kids to pick up the
Yeah.
habits of
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
parents.
Well, that's why
No
parenting is
way.
like probably the most important job there is raising
Right.
kids, being a parent. It's
And
really,
maybe for someone it's not, and I won't judge them,
yeah,
right?
not for
But
everyone.
for me, this
Yeah.
is how I live, and anyone that decides to judge me or tell me I'm crazy for doing what I do now, I'm happy doing what I do now.
Yeah.
Even if it's one person that I
Yeah.
can help or
Hmm.
Yeah.
prevent them from going into danger or poverty, right?
Yeah.
We deserve, I mean, I've always, even, when I felt it in my core growing up as a girl, young girl, like I deserve to be happy.
Yeah.
All I hear is no, 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 no. And I wasn't asking for anything crazy to go to my high school prom, to go on a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah.
Like parents just didn't get that. They just, oh, MTV, spring break. So I
Yeah.
had to lie. I lied a lot. That's how I did not live an authentic life. My life, it's like I lived one way at home and outside, but I wasn't a terrible person. I wasn't like doing risky stuff.
Yeah.
My first club experience was when I was 21 because
Yeah.
I couldn't go out.
So you just had strict parents. They
I
were
had
really
very strict
strict.
parents.
Yeah.
We're Muslims. We don't do
Yeah.
that. We don't drink. We don't. It's
Mm.
like, okay, why did you bring me here? That was always my, why did you bring me here?
Well,
Because there's so
Catch
much
me.
fun to be had, and you're not letting
there
me
you
have
go.
It's
Well,
like,
well,
yeah.
I think we're gonna have to bring you back to
Yeah,
do
there's so
another
much.
episode to talk about your business more in detail than, our personal experiences and how we've either
Well, I
coped
think it was a
or
very productive conversation, and
oh,
I
I
think
think it was
the
great.
audience
I
will appreciate
enjoyed
hearing
every
about
minute of
your
it.
experiences, the personal
Yeah,
experiences, because
feel
these
yeah.
are
like
things everybody
But
can
my
see.
it's
business was created from my personal
yeah,
experiences.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's through the pain, the suffering.
yeah,
Right. I mean, the suffering was all in my head. Anyway, I recognize this now.
yeah.
But
Sometimes we bring it up on ourselves. That's
We
true.
don't
exactly.
realize the problems when we don't realize the solutions or how we got into the problems when
Yeah,
we're actually in the problem. We're dealing with the
right.
problem itself. We don't get to look back on it until either hopefully it's
Or look at our
over
part. How am I
or how
creating
did I
this?
get into this?
Yeah,
So
Right.
yeah, that's a very factual statement.
So my
But
business is it's really how living a rich life, and
yeah,
that's through money, through enriching relationships that you have with
yeah,
coworkers, how you manage your boss,
yeah.
and how you the teams that rely on you.
Well, we're going to put up a link so that people can find you and find your
yeah,
books and your newsletter and all of that. So hopefully the audience will get a chance to see a little bit more about what you do and learn some things from you. And we thank you so much for sharing what you do with us and the world. Thank you for doing what you do because it's very
yeah.
helpful to everyone that I'm sure that you touch. So yeah, maybe we will have you back another time and you can tell us a little bit more. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll be structured, but I really enjoyed my conversation with you too.
Yeah.
And
Thank
John,
you.
we will have to connect
Yeah.
because they said I feel this urge now to get it done. And I don't
Right.
want to
Your
write a
Bible.
book for people to read. I want to get it out to the masses. I want billions of girls to see this woman,
Billions of
Her
girls.
story. Hear her story.
girls, men, whoever.
Yeah.
It's not my story. It's through me and through all the other girls, women
No,
that
I
I know.
think your origins on where they were and what you did to or what your family did to get you here and what you had to go through and what you've done to get to this point, I think is a story that people want to hear, need to hear.
Well, John's the
Uh,
guy that you can talk to and
oh
should talk
boy,
to, and he will inspire you to get busy and write that book.
there you
We
go.
will, and it was
Well,
really, I mean, Kelly,
yeah.
the money, all of that, like we can really go deep on the business, how it's structured, and how I provide value to people.
Yeah.
But the first way it's for people to get and come into my community is through my newsletter. Live Rich, Retire Rich. It's free for them. Yes, I do make money from sponsors, but
That's
That's
business.
business.
that's
Yeah. That
business.
allows you to
That's
share a
right.
newsletter for
Yeah,
free.
and I get to do what I do and make money. Like I'm really grateful for everything that's happened in my life because it's brought me where I am. I have a lot to share, and I do it through NAS Global Consulting. That's why it's so open-ended because I consult corporations. That's how I bring money because I have to pay bills and live my rich life. And my give back is probably through a foundation to help educate women, empower them through money because through money, that's where the empowerment is.
Yeah. Money gives you options. That's what I always tell
Yes,
my
money gives you
friends, young
options and
kids, mostly girls. I always say when you have money, you have options. And so it's always good to have options and you're not stuck.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank
And
Oh,
you. Thanks for
pleasure.
making time for us.
Yeah, and
And we
we'll
look
have you
forward to
back.
chatting with you again another time.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
absolutely.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All views expressed in this video belong to Kelly Nicholson, John D'Amore, and guests. These discussions do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which they have been affiliated now or will be in the future. The opinions expressed are solely theirs, and since they are critically thinking human beings, these views are subject to change, subject to revision, and subject to rethinking at any time. These conversations are not meant to be taken as advice and are only for the purpose of entertainment. All statements may be based on hearsay and not necessarily valid proof of any claims in this video. It is not our intention to teach or advise on any topic. Unless otherwise noted, all photos are public domain. Thanks for watching A Slice of Life with Kellie and Jon.